Are you ready to take your business to the next level? Every day, there are countless books and articles that are published offering the key on how to make your business a success. It's easy to feel overwhelmed trying to keep up and run your business. That's why Deb Creer created the Business Power Hour. Keep up on the latest trends, best practices, and techniques for how to make your business a success. Let the Business Power Hour do the heavy work for you.
Good morning. Good morning. I am Deb Creer, and I am passionate about giving professionals the tools that they need to make themselves and their businesses as successful as possible. And anybody who's listened to this program more than once or twice or knows a little bit about me knows that I like to have fun. And, right? Life is way too short. But the thing is, we need to bring fun into our businesses. So please join me in welcoming Joel Zeff to our program today to talk about this. So welcome, Joel. How are you?
I'm great, Deb. I'm ready to talk about fun.
I know. We are just going to rock and roll. So let me tell people just a little bit about you, and then we'll jump into this.
I'll take notes.
Okay, take notes. Are you ready? You should see the notes that I took on your book. I mean, I covered my little piece of paper.
I'm ready to take notes. I'm ready to learn something about me.
We are ready. So Joel Zeff creates energy. His spontaneous humor and vital messages have thrilled audiences for more than 25 years. He started when he was 8. As an international keynote speaker, work culture expert, author, and humorist, Joel captivates audiences with a unique blend of hilarious improvisational comedy and essential ideas on work and life. He has shared his experience and insight on collaboration, leadership, change, communication, innovation, fun, and passion at more than 2,500 events. One of the things he mentioned in his book is he's also even presented to the IRS. His book, as I said, is called Make the Right Choice. Lead with passion, elevate your team, and unleash the fun at work. It is consistently listed as one of the top work-life balance books on Amazon. He has appeared on CNBC and has been featured in the Dallas Morning News, Houston Chronicle, the Kansas City Star, and many other media outlets. So again, Joel, welcome to the program.
Wow, I don't even know.
I know.
We don't even have to do the program. That's it. We can just stop right there. That was good. We peaked.
I know. That's the thing. Did we peak? Are we? No. We're gonna be bringing fun to it. So I think people are always very interested in how somebody got to where they are today, because you've had kind of a roundabout way to get where you are now. So tell us a little bit more about your journey.
Sure. I started as a newspaper journalist. I'm very proud of that. That was my degree. Great. And I was working my first job was a newspaper in Michigan. Okay. And then the Dallas Times-Herald, Dallas, Texas, came calling and recruited me to join the paper in Dallas. And that was 1991. And 6 months later, the paper closed.
Oh.
So, and I said this earlier today, the people on the Titanic did not know they were on the Titanic. They thought they were going for a great
were just
cruise.
Going merrily along.
Yes. I was fully aware I was on the Titanic. I knew that we were hitting an iceberg. I just didn't know when. And it hit 6 months after I joined the paper. And we'll talk. That's the Magic Harmonica story. Which
we'll have to talk about that.
And I started. So I lost my job. I had a severance check, which is always the origin story for stand-up comedy. That is the origin story. Right. That's my superhero origin story. So I started doing stand-up, started doing improv, fell in love with improv, realized I needed a job, started working at a PR agency, then an ad agency. And one of my clients was Texas Instruments, and they knew I did improv comedy on the weekends. They said, "Hey, we're doing this retreat. We know you do the improv on the weekends. Can you come do some of that with us?" And that's how it started. And the little light bulb started flickering, just flickering. It wasn't fully on.
Yeah. Right.
There's a little sizzle. And they had fun. I had fun. And that's how my career started. Although at that time, I did not know it was going to be my career. I just thought I was going to do one of these every once in a while. And, when you follow what you love to do and you follow your passion, things grow. and if you water them, they grow, and you
Right.
spend time on them, they grow. And all of a sudden I turned around and I go, well, I guess I'm a speaker, and I loved it, and it's fulfilling and rewarding. And so I use improv to talk about teamwork and communication and leadership and embracing change, all the messages that allow us to be successful and connect with each other. And 2,500 events later, now I'm on the Power Hour with Deb.
Yay! Oh my gosh, the pinnacle.
This is the pinnacle. When I was just a little boy speaking, hoping.
Yeah. You went, oh,
I was
please,
thinking,
please.
Maybe I'll hit the Power Hour. And here I am.
Yay! I know. Okay, so we're done. We've just
dreams come true.
Right.
Here we are.
And it's funny because in your book, and again, it's a long title, so I'm going to go through it again. Make the right choice, lead with passion, elevate your team, and unleash the fun at work. We're going to be talking about it a lot, and But one of the things you talk about is giving kudos to people and complimenting them, and so tell it, which we joke about. You grew up wanting to be on the Power Hour.
I did.
That's a fun way to be giving a compliment to somebody, right? Now, I've been doing the program a really long time, not quite that long though. But how is it that giving compliments in a fun way is a great thing to be doing at work?
Well, it's a gift. It's the best gift you can give anyone, and it doesn't take any budget or money. Barely takes any time.
Right.
And you don't have to put a PowerPoint presentation together with like an upside down triangle or interlocking circles. Which is the conversation of a lot of corporate people. And in my keynotes, I talk about the spirit of ta-da, and that when my kids were younger, everything they did was a ta-da. Right. They stood up for the first time. You went, ta-da, you did it. You ate a cheese sandwich. You're like, ta-da, you ate the cheese sandwich. Woo. And everybody does that or something similar. And when we give those ta-das, what happens is we're celebrating them. We build their confidence. Whatever we're celebrating, they do more of. Right. You see it in their body language, and they want to do more. They're happy. They have a big smile. And so in my keynotes, the first thing I do is have everybody stand up. We do a big ta-da. We think about something that we deserve that celebration, because as adults, we do great things every day, but we don't celebrate them.
Right.
We forget. We just think it's part of our day. And that celebration fuels our passion. It fuels our ability to be great leaders, great teammates, great communicators. And if we don't have that fuel, we're out of it.
Right.
We can't be successful. And so it's so important to celebrate each other, to give those ta-da moments, to create those and celebrate for yourself and for the people around you, because it fuels our passion.
Right. And I love that you say celebrate yourself, because I think that's one of the, we're so critical and hard on ourselves, right? And sometimes your ta-da moment is, I got up, right?
For some people,
I didn't fall down the stairs, moment. Right? Yeah. And
that celebrate the little things.
Yeah. And so it doesn't have to be the monumental, oh my gosh, we changed the world. It's what's something little.
At the end of my emails, at the end of the email, I always put ta-da, whether I'm sending an invoice, answering a question, scheduling a conference call. Ta-da! We did it. We scheduled that call.
Right.
And and I hope the people that read it, they get a little smile and they think, that's funny. Some people probably read it and go, what is this TADA?
Yeah, an acronym?
What is he talking about?
Right.
And then they get to know me and they figure out it's ta-da. And it's celebrating, and it's really just having an attitude and embracing it that we're going to celebrate the people around us, and we're going to create that positive support because it's so important. And in my keynotes, again, I use improv as the visual tool to discuss these choices. And I bring audience volunteers on stage. We play an improv game. It's lots of fun, lots of laughter, but they're doing something for the first time. And the more positive support the audience gives them, the more risks they take, the more they do. And so that positive support is just so powerful.
Right. And in the workplace, I think we look for, the employee of the month, or, the big things, if we even bother to do those anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And it is just sometimes the simple things of, hey, Joel, thanks for getting that report in a day early.
Yeah.
And and some of it can be, thanks for cleaning the coffee pot out today. Right.
That's a big deal.
It doesn't have to be, the big things. Now that, cleaning the coffee pot, that could have been kind of the sarcastic thing, right? The other 40 times that you emptied the pot and didn't do anything.
Right.
But
or maybe they need to buy a Keurig.
Right. That's it. Yeah. So you only get one. But it's it's funny because we celebrate children when they do good things. I mean, in your book, you talked about the ta-da moment with your 3-year-old, I believe, yes, where she's in the restaurant bathroom. She comes out and goes, ta-da! I went pee by myself. And of
she's
course,
22 now, by the way.
Oh, okay. Yes. And absolutely mortified. I'm quite sure that, everybody knows this story. But of course, everybody else in the restaurant goes, ta-da!
Yeah. Big moment.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And it's, and somewhere we get out of that, where we still might say, hey, good job, or things like that, but we don't do ta-das. And I like ta-das.
Yeah. It's, what happens is, as you grow older, mm-hmm, you start having fewer and fewer of these celebration moments. When you're mm-hmm younger, everything in your life mm-hmm is a ta-da. Everything.
Right.
And
I cleaned my plate.
Everything.
Whatever. Mm-hmm.
You hold a fork. Ta-da. Mm-hmm. I mean, everything.
And don't spear yourself. That's right, even better. Mm-hmm.
And it's a big moment. And, mm-hmm as we get older, we still mm-hmm have these moments. We mm-hmm just think they're part of the day. We don't celebrate mm-hmm them.
Right.
Maybe once a year we get together and we give out mm-hmm some awards.
Mm-hmm.
And it's important to celebrate every day
mm-hmm
because, again, it fuels our passion. It
right
fuels who mm-hmm we are and what we need to be the best mm-hmm teammate, communicator, mm-hmm leader. And it's not that difficult. Mm-hmm. One of the challenges that I tell my audiences is that when you go home from work,
mm-hmm
think about all the people that you had contact with, mm-hmm your partners, your customers, your vendors, your team. Did you give the people that deserved it positive support? Did mm-hmm you say, thank you, and I appreciate you. Thanks for helping me on that report. Mm-hmm Thanks for listening to me. Thanks for those words of mm-hmm advice.
But it's their job to do it.
Yeah. Thanks for being our customer.
Mm-hmm.
And you forget. And so we're thinking mm-hmm about this on the way home.
Mm-hmm.
And then tomorrow, because we went through all
mm-hmm
those names, tomorrow, let's give those mm-hmm people that appreciation.
Right.
Let's say thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And you can text them and
mm-hmm
drop them an email.
Mm-hmm.
You can see them in the hall. You can
mm-hmm
mail a letter and
mm-hmm
wait a week, whatever.
Right.
We just want,
mm-hmm
people want to hear it, and it's
mm-hmm
a gift.
mm-hmm
And when you tell somebody that, they feel it,
mm-hmm
and it's important, and it's the best gift you can give
mm-hmm
anybody, and it
mm-hmm
barely takes any time.
Right.
And
right.
It's important.
Mm-hmm. And it grows, right? Somebody tells you thank you, then you think, ooh, how can I pass that on? Kind of like a smile, right? Those things, you never know. And we hear this all the time. I mean, and this is a cranky world where smiling at somebody or saying thank you, that might be the only time they heard it all day.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's just, and so why not? Why not say thank you? Even if it wasn't perfect, even if there were also, you know what? Thank you for the effort. Thank you for trying. I mean, and it's, you're not saying, okay, we've done something monumental. It's, yeah, thanks.
Yeah. Positive support goes a long way for
mm-hmm
everything. And it's
mm-hmm
really a foundation.
Mm-hmm.
And, again, when I play an audience game, the mm-hmm more the audience laughs and applauds,
mm-hmm
the more the volunteers do, the more risk
right
they take.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very powerful.
Mm-hmm. Right. Which is really where improv comes in. And I love this. It's been many years, but we did have a guest on one time she teaches improv to business people, right? But she teaches it to speakers because they need to be able to, anyhow, she used to, I don't know what she does now, but, because as a speaker, improv really is a pretty good tool because you never know when something's going to happen, and you're going to have to kind of get through that. I have a cousin who owns an improv place in Eau Claire, Wisconsin, and he does classes on it and all of this. So talk to us more about improv And
Sure.
why is it an important business tool?
So I fell in love with improv very early on. The first, some friends took me to a show in Dallas, and it was like the movies where the music was like, oh, and you knew this was an important moment.
Yes.
And I was like, this was a big deal. And I fell in love, and I love sharing what improv gave me, what improv taught me. And when I play these games in my keynotes, I don't want to teach people how to play improv. What I want to do is use it as a visual storyboard so people can see these choices being made in real time, these choices of teamwork and leadership and embracing change and communication. And these are the choices that we have to make back at our work. And so if we laugh, if we have fun, we're engaged, we're going to be more open to the message. We're going to retain the message. So playing the improv games, one, is fun. Two, and you're learning, and you don't even know you're learning because you're playing, and everybody to have fun. And I just give people that opportunity, and improv is an awesome way to do that. And so when I create that fun and that energy, people want to play, and improv is just an amazing tool. And I fell in love with it. It's just sharing that love.
Right. And to me, it's basically how to think on your feet. And sometimes it can be how to respond if there's something negative that's going on, and not just, get upset and things like that. I was giving a presentation on how to use LinkedIn as a job tool, right? Kind of, and this was years ago. And, somebody came in late and made, he, it wasn't sneaky and I'm late. It's sorry. He made an entrance, and, and so I, kind of acknowledged that. And then several times throughout my program, he interrupted me, and not in a good way. And the third time I stopped, because I'd acknowledged him every time. I think that's kind of, something. If you ignore the heckler, they get annoyed and they're going to do it more, right? And so, I acknowledged him. I answered whatever, but the third time where he interrupted, and like I said, he was not happy. He was, and I just stopped, and I said, "Sir, it's clear you don't want to be here, and you're being disruptive. I'd be more than happy to talk to you outside the program.
Wow.
But I'm going to ask you to leave." And everybody clapped.
I'm clapping. I'm going to clap for you right now, Dad.
I mean, it was like, woo. Now you talk about scary. I mean, asking, because he could have, and turns out he was like that all the time, but nobody ever called him on the carpet, right?
That's just how he is.
Yeah. And so, but then I go out afterwards and he's standing out there by my car, and I'm thinking, oh, he was there to apologize.
Oh, could have gone a lot of different ways there.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I was thinking I need to go back in the building, right? But because I handled it in a way where I didn't say, "Hey, shut up," or angry or anything like that. I just kept my head, kept my calm, and responded to him. He was okay with that. And to me, that is kind of improv, right? It's how do you deal with it? And, I mentioned the guest who, uses it for speakers. What happens when, you're given your big keynote and the waiter drops the tray of glasses, right? You have to be able to respond on your feet. Your beloved PowerPoint presentation doesn't work.
Right. Well, for those of your listeners and viewers, if they not familiar with improv, improv was created by a woman at NYU in the late 1930s, early 1940s. Her name was Viola Spolin, and she taught her acting students. She created improv for her acting students at NYU because she felt like if you played a game, you're going to take away some of your barriers, and you're going to be more engaged, more open, because again, you're playing. And improv is about playing. And when you're playing, you are more open to taking some risk, and and you can make mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
There's a freedom there.
Mm-hmm.
And improv is, there's no script, there's no rehearsal,
Right.
there's no plan. Everything's happening right there
Mm-hmm.
for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
And when I use it in my keynotes, again, I mentioned the visual storyboard, but I want the audience to laugh and have fun.
Mm-hmm.
And that creates a connection between the audience and myself.
Mm-hmm.
And then they are going to be more open to the message. And what I'm showing by playing these improv games is that we're making these choices. And these choices are in us. They're inherent.
Right.
But we just have to create the right foundation for these choices to happen. And positive support, opportunity. You know, when I give the audience members an opportunity, I'm giving them ownership. And when they take ownership, they care about the game, they care about the outcome, they care about what's happening. And when they care, they have passion. And that's what we all want from the people that we work around in our business. We want people to have passion. And that passion happens because they care. And they care because they have ownership. So as leaders, we have to create this ownership. And I use improv as a tool, how important it is when we create and give ownership and we create and give positive support, what happens. Because again, I'm taking these audience volunteers, they might not even know each other playing this game together. They certainly never played the game, putting them in a situation where they've got to work together as a team, where they've got to face challenges and change, where they have to be innovative, where they have to communicate. And all these choices are being made because I've created this foundation where they can be successful. And it's just amazing to see. So much fun. And the audience learns that these choices are very easy to make when we create these foundations.
Right. You know, and you talk about choices in your book and the fact that, you know, everything is a choice, right? Somebody cuts you off in traffic. You can choose to be angry and cranky. You can choose to say, maybe they're having a bad day. You can choose to not even do anything, right? But it's your choice as to what you're doing.
How you react to change. That's a great point. Improv, I don't control what the other person does or says. I only control how I react to it. And so in business, you know, I don't control that I lost my job. I don't control that there's new competition or that there's going to be a merger or an acquisition. I don't control that I lost my customer. I don't control that there's a new regulation or a new document I have to fill out. I only control how I react to it. And, you know, we mentioned the magic harmonica. That's really in my book, chapter 2, I talk about the magic harmonica.
Yes. Tell us the story. We need to hear the story.
I would love to. And we'll talk about reacting to change within that. Right. And so as I mentioned, I was working at the Dallas Times Herald. I was on board the Titanic. The newspaper closed. They said, come clean out your desk.
Right.
Everybody's, you know, as you'll always, no matter how long you work, you always, at some point, you're going to get that call.
Right. Somehow you get that call.
Where you've lost your job, you're laid off, whatever. This was mine. And so most people feel angry or upset or confused or disappointed or sad. I felt elation.
Right. Like you said, you knew you were on the Titanic.
Yeah, this was the greatest day, one of the greatest days of my life. I say that very often. And so I left my 1-bedroom apartment and I grabbed this magic harmonica. And I bought this at a lecture in college. And I don't remember the lecture. I don't remember why I bought the harmonica. I just
somebody was a good salesperson.
Yeah, maybe as a harmonica player.
Could have been a cute girl. I don't know.
I don't remember a cute girl, but could have been. Sure, let's tell.
We'll go with that.
Yeah, and so I bought this harmonica, and I don't play the harmonica. I don't have any musical ability. I'm actually tone deaf. But the harmonica, do you hear it?
Right.
Actually allows you to play a little bit, and people might say, "Oh, he knows what he's doing."
Right.
It's a magical instrument. So I went to go clean out my desk. Again, people are angry, they're upset, they're sad, they're disappointed, they're confused. I found myself on the back loading dock where the media had gathered, radio stations, TV stations, the other newspapers to cover.
Yeah, because this is a big deal when a major newspaper closes.
In 1991, it was. Nowadays.
It's like they were still working.
It's like a Tuesday. It's like a Tuesday. They're still open. And so so I don't know why I did this. I don't know why I grabbed the harmonica when I left my apartment. I don't know why I found myself on the back loading dock. I don't know why I made this choice, and just I don't know. And so here's what happened. I can do one blues note fairly well. That's my fairly well blues note. And so I grabbed my harmonica and the media's there, and just out of nowhere I started doing this. I said, I lost my job today. Got no money. They said, come clean out your desk. You got no job here. I know you started 6 months ago, but you got no job today. Clean out your desk. Playing the newspaper blues. So something to that. I don't know if those were the exact words.
Yeah, somewhere around there, right?
Yeah, yeah. I get some applause. So the cameras, it was like the movies. The cameras like focused in on me. Yeah, they're like because they're expecting people to be upset, and sad, and angry, cleaning out their, taking the boxes of the cars, and they're like, I lost my job. They didn't expect some idiot young kid to play the harmonica poorly, and so that's what happened. And for 1991, here's how you go viral in 1991. It 2 local TV broadcasts kicked off their story about the newspaper closing
with you
playing the harmonica, singing the newspaper blues. I got the newspaper blues. And there's a big picture in the Star Telegram, the other newspaper. And then a friend of mine, friends from across the country, because the story would be picked up, and they're like, did I see you on the news playing the harmonica?
Dude.
And so that was my story. And so what happened was, it taught me to embrace change, that I choose how I react to change. I didn't choose how that I lost my job, but I chose how I reacted. And I reacted being confident and being who I am, being positive and going out there. And by playing the magic harmonica, it reduced my stress. It gave me confidence. It taught me that is important how you deal with these difficult situations, and that you choose your attitude. And it was really important. And that's why it's my favorite chapter in my book, chapter 2, about embracing that change and the magic harmonica, and that we all have these moments in our career, these magic harmonica moments where we choose, where that direction is going to go and what we're going to do. And these are important moments that should be celebrated. And sometimes we don't know that I didn't know that moment was that special at the time. As I reflected, I realized it really gave me confidence, and it taught me to choose who I am, and taught me to embrace the change and have a great attitude. Certainly I knew that at the moment, but looking back, it really, that this moment led me to taking the risk and going out and doing stand-up comedy, to audition for an improv comedy troupe. And all those moments happened, and then 2,500 keynotes, and now I'm on the Power Hour. So all those moments led to this moment. Woo! I got a woo. I got a whistle. So all those moments led to this moment, and I don't know if that was all going to happen. If the paper did not close that day, I don't know how long, if it just would have kept on going. Maybe I kept on being a reporter, and then I was recruited to another newspaper, and built my career there. And so you don't know that sometimes these moments are happening, and they are huge moments in your life.
Right. And I think it is about recognizing them, and thinking, okay, and it's not to say obviously that there's a right or wrong, because the people who were angry and upset, all of that was okay for them, but at the same point, you were like, nah, okay, I'm gonna, and the key is, okay, maybe you feel that anger, you feel that whatever, don't stay there. And I work with people who have been, told they have cancer, and that's icky and that's nasty. And we're going to go, oh, crud, and lots worse words, right? But then it's, how are you going to choose to go from there? Are you going to stay having pity parties, or are you going to say, I'm going to go merrily along with this. And you're going to go back and forth. All of these things, it's kind of a little roller coaster ride, right? And it's okay to put up your hands and go, we.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just, again, really choosing your attitude.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's important. Improv teaches us to embrace change,
Mm-hmm.
to be open and flexible
Mm-hmm.
change, to be prepared for change.
Mm-hmm.
When I bring audience volunteers to the stage, they made a choice sitting at their seats. Excuse me. They made a choice.
Right. They raise their hand.
Yeah. They don't know what's going to happen, what game I'm going to play. But what they've done is they've chosen their attitude, that they're open and flexible, that they're positive.
Right.
It sets their tone. It sets their approach. It sets how they play the game, because they are prepared for change. And that's a huge adjustment. And anyone working, change is going to happen whether you like it or not.
Right.
Most change is out of your control. Again, we control how we react to change. And so I don't control that you have a new boss, you have new work, new competition, new regulation, whatever. I only react to it. And so we have to embrace and we have to be prepared for that change. Change is going to happen.
Right.
And then we have to be open and flexible. And all these are choices that I talk about in the book and in my keynote. But I want to do it in a fun, engaging way.
Right.
And the book is about fun. The book is, I want you to laugh. I want you to, as you're reading about these stories about change and about teamwork and leadership, I tell stories that's going to engage the reader. And I want people to laugh about all the funny, silly things that happen at work.
Right. And each chapter is written long enough that you can read it in the bathroom. See, I read.
Yes.
And
some are a little longer, so you might have had something spicy. I don't know.
Yeah, you might be there.
Yes.
Or two parts.
I tried to, they're not long treaties on business. I wanted people to have fun, be engaged in the book. Each chapter has lots of ideas. We talk about ideas about being positive and supportive and ideas to create that I've picked up through working with so many amazing companies and seeing their cultures and ideas in how to be a great leader, or ideas about creating opportunity, or ideas about being innovative, and things that I've picked up along the way, and things that improv have taught me in a very fun, engaging read.
Right. But as you said, there are serious tones, right? You talk about, things might not be going the way you want, but it's still important to stay in the game. And I think we've really seen that after COVID, the whole great resignation, great checking out, great whatever it is, it's as my grandma would have said, make the best of the situation.
Yeah.
Now you might be planning to exit, but why not make the best of it while you're there?
Yeah. Staying in the game is my favorite message that improv taught me. And one of my favorite messages that I talk about in my keynote and in the book. And staying in the game means you're going to be faced. Something might not go right. Somebody might say something that didn't work, or in the improv game, you might go in a direction that didn't fit or didn't work. But if you give up, the game will suffer. The game will stop, right? The only thing you cannot do in improv is quit. Once you quit, the game is over.
Right.
But to stay in the game, that means we're going to find a way for it to be successful. And when we talk about that with work, stay in the game means, okay, what do I need to do to find success? Do I need to work hard, stay late, find a mentor? Do I need to get more training? What do I need to do to stay in the game? And when you do that, you're going to be fulfilled and rewarded, because you know how much work and time was put into something for that success to happen.
Right. And you also talk in the book about bad managers, and we've all had them, right?
Yeah. Did you have a favorite one that I talk about?
Oh, all of them. I mean, that was the bad part. I was like, ooh, I knew that. Oh, ooh,
I know that guy.
Yeah. And really sadly, we've probably all been those people too at points in time. But it's one of the things that struck me too is you talked about, okay, so you've got a bad manager. Again, it's your choice. How are you going to deal with that bad manager? You mentioned one in your book where he just stopped talking to you. for whatever
That's a
reason.
true story. That's my manager. That's
Yeah.
a true story.
And it's like, oh my gosh. And so you just went
you're bringing
around
back
him,
memories.
right? Yeah.
Yep.
It's like, okay, well, dude's not going to talk to me. I'm just going to go around him.
Yeah.
And yeah. So how do we, again, it's our choice. How are we going to deal with that bad manager? And, you talk about it a lot in the book. You have to communicate this, right? You need to tell somebody, maybe them,
right,
this is not working.
Yep.
And you might find out, you might go to him and say, hey, Joel, I don't know what's going on with you, but this is not working. Well, then you might find out there's something really bad that's going on, a reason that they've all of a sudden got a bad attitude. And maybe you can help with it. Maybe you can't. But it's all about communicating and as you said, not just shutting down and checking out.
Right. You have to make choices, and you have to realize what makes you happy and fulfilled. And I say again in my keynote, answer that question. What is going to fulfill you and reward you? And you're going to be surprised by the answer. It's probably not more money, because that happiness only lasts to the next paycheck. What is it that's going to fulfill you and reward you? Do you want a mentor? Do you want a different role? Do you want more training? Do you want a different manager? What? I don't know.
Right.
And so when you answer that question, now you have a guiding light and a direction to go. And now you have to tell somebody, hey, this is what I need to be happy and fulfilled and rewarded. And you're going to be surprised how easy it is for them to give you that opportunity or to give you what you need to be fulfilled. And if they don't, that's a big clue. You're in the wrong place. And that's okay.
Oh, yeah.
But now but I promise somebody down the street, another company wants someone just like you, and they're going to give you opportunity. They're going to give you positive support, and that's going to be fulfilling and rewarding. But you don't want to work somewhere that's not making you happy.
Right.
It's not making you fulfilled and rewarded. You're just wasting your time.
Right. Oh, yeah. And sometimes you have to, right? You got bills you got to pay, all those things.
Yeah.
But be looking for ways that you can make a change, whether it's there or, I was talking to somebody earlier today. He was saying, that his son had never gone to college. That was not what he wanted to do.
Sure.
He's been, got a great job out of school, was doing really well, and is at 31 now going back to college. So we can always be making these changes with whatever it is that's going on.
Yeah, I think the goal should always be being fulfilled, right? Being rewarded, being fulfilled, being happy here. And when you ask and answer that question, you're going to be surprised by the true answer. And you have to be honest with yourself. And, don't be afraid to make that change. Don't be afraid to search out a company, an organization that's going to make you happy.
Right.
And, one of the things I like to mention, especially when I talk to students, is what would you do for free? Right? What would you do for free? Because absolutely. Well, I do it for free sometimes. But I would no one.
No,
secret. Don't tell anybody. But I actually love speaking. I love what I do, and I would do it for free. What my clients pay for is to be away from my family, to travel, to be next to the guy that's sick on the plane, to deal. That's what
it's costing. Yep.
Conference calls, right? Teams calls. That's where the price goes up. But to be on stage, that's what I love. I love improv. And so I just found a way, and that was my guiding light. And at the beginning, I didn't know that was going to be my career. And if you gave me a gift card to Chili's and a hoodie, I would be thrilled.
Yeah.
Because I loved it. And if you follow what you love, follow what you would do for free, and make that your guiding light, I promise there is a company that will that does whatever you love that you would do for free. Or there's an industry, whatever it is, whatever you love, whether if you love camping, that's a multi-billion-dollar industry. Get involved in that. If you love giving back, there's so many nonprofits to work for. If you love, whatever you love, follow that. And that should be your guiding light. And, I was very fortunate that I was able to figure that out, and very fortunate that I found something that I loved and went toward it and built that business, but I never thought it was going to be my whole business. What I love to do. I love to share what improv taught me. I love to make people laugh. And I thought, oh, well, okay, I can do one here, one there. It's a lot of fun. And then just like anything, you put that energy and you put that time into something. It's amazing what happens.
Right. Yeah. And, one of the things you said is you got to be honest with yourself, because, you might have been raised to go to college, to do this, to do that, all these expectations from everybody else, and that's great. But if that's not what you want to do, then, and I mean, that's why we see so many people who are unhappy.
Yeah. Follow what you love. And, I have a nephew that he didn't want to go to college. He wanted to be a mechanic. And so he went to mechanic school.
Cool.
And loves it. And that's what, again, his passion was cars.
Right.
His passion was.
And he probably makes more than a lot of his classmates.
Oh, I'm sure. He's doing well. He's doing well for a young man, for sure. And just had dinner with him a couple weeks ago. And he loves what he does. And he followed his what he wanted to do. And he followed that passion. And that's, I encourage everybody to do that. And one of my clients is a company that does plumbing, HVAC, electrical. And again, follow what you love. And, some people, you just learn a trade. You don't, not everybody has to go to college. You can learn a trade. There's a plenty of opportunities to learn, and they're even teaching those trades. And they make incredible money, and they love what they do, and they help people.
Right. Yeah. The HVAC people who are bringing air conditioning to people in Atlanta, they, they know they're making a difference, or heat to somebody in Colorado or whatever.
Thank goodness. Yeah. Thank goodness that there are people that can do those trades, because I don't know how to do that. No. That's not my ability. But I love when an expert comes in and takes care of it. Yes. And that's an amazing. Figure out what you would do, what you want to do, and what you love, and follow that. Follow that passion.
Right. Right. Now, one of the things you talk about in the book is something that you do with your groups, and it's bunny, bunny, bunny. Tell me more about bunny, bunny, bunny.
I don't know what you're talking about, Deb.
I know.
Was that another speaker?
Yeah.
Bunny, bunny, bunny is, so you put your hands up, you do this.
Yeah, you make bunny ears.
And you make bunny ears. And now all your listeners or viewers are like, what is he talking about?
Okay, everybody put your hands up. Yeah, bunny ears.
Like,
bunny
what?
Ears.
What are we doing that? It's a fun game that I do at the beginning of my keynotes, and it kind of brings everybody together. And it's kind of it's taking a risk together, and we do it because we're supporting each other. Like I would not ask you to walk down the hall and just go up to random people and say bunny, 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 and
right?
Do that.
You might be escorted out the door.
Yes, or worse.
Yes,
you look foolish. You look silly.
Right.
But because we did it together, nobody judged. Everybody supported each other. It was easy to take that risk, and that's what I wanted to teach the audience, that we're in it together, and then if we support each other, it's easier to take risk, easier to overcome these challenges. And that's really the spirit of the Bunny Bunny Bunny, is supporting each other, taking that risk together. And we all have to take risks. We all have to get out of our comfort zone. It's hard. It's hard.
Right.
And if we have the people around us to support us, if we have the people around us to give us that positive support, it's going to be easier to overcome that challenge, easier to take that risk. And that's the spirit of the Bunny Bunny Bunny. And it's just fun to have a whole audience put their hands up like that and go bunny, bunny, bunny. And especially like when I'm speaking to like really serious.
Oh yes. The suit and tie
bankers,
people.
Yeah. Bankers. I love watching a group of bankers do that.
But there's always got to be a first person, right?
Yeah.
Nobody wants to be the first person.
Well, what happens? I do it. Then there are like some people will just do it immediately.
Yeah. Oh, there'd be me. I'd be bunny, bunny,
bunny.
Right?
Yes. You're front row, Deb. I would love to. You're like, you got it. Speaker told me to do it. And then there's some people, they're a little tentative, but they kind of, they look around, they see everybody else doing it, and they're like, well, okay, I can do it. And it creates that moment together where we're supporting each other. It's pretty exciting. It's just funny to, especially, and I know it's out of their comfort zone. It's not out of your comfort zone, Deb, but I know it's out of other people's comfort zone. And it's fun to see them realize that it's
Right.
okay to take that
Mhm.
risk.
Mhm.
And when they
Mhm.
receive that support, that
Mhm.
it's easier to
Mhm.
take that risk.
Right.
And then I
Mhm.
start playing some of these improv games
Mhm.
and learning, and so
Mhm.
it's really just kind of the opening
Mhm.
way to kind
Mhm.
of create this connection in the
Right.
audience.
Right. Yeah, it was funny as I was reading about it, I was thinking about a time when I sang at somebody's funeral, right?
Oh
Ooh,
my.
somber, right? Yes, right. But she was not a serious person. And so at the end, and she, it was one of those services that was definitely honoring her. I
Oh
mean,
sure.
very uplifting, things like that. But at the end, we had people strategically placed throughout the audience, one of whom was my poor husband, who always gets drug into things like this. And so, they say the final prayer, and these very strategically placed people start blowing bubbles, right? So there's bubble, and people are like, there's bubbles. And so our little group starts singing the Lawrence Welk song, good
Oh my.
night, good night. And pretty soon everybody's singing, everybody's having a good time. And for us, it was the perfect way to end, because it really brought everybody back together. And, my husband's like,
Yeah, I made a note
mm-hmm,
to request that
mm-hmm.
at my
Bubbles,
funeral.
bubbles, yeah.
Hopefully
Mm-hmm.
long in the future.
Yes, yes. When people
I
will be
like
going,
bubbles.
Lawrence, who?
Yeah, I like bubbles.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
But little things like that. Part of this is it takes us back to our childhood, right? When we were happy, when we could say ta-da. I
Yeah,
mean,
people want to
all of
play.
those things.
Hmm. People want to play,
Mhm.
and I just give people that opportunity.
Mhm.
And you're surprised,
Mhm.
and not every time a company that is what you would consider a fun
Mhm.
company brings me in.
Mhm.
There's lots of different. You
Mhm.
mentioned I've spoken to the IRS
Mhm.
and many other government agencies,
Mhm.
and you know what? We all, no matter what we do, no matter where we are in life, we want to play. Sometimes we forget that,
Mhm.
and I come in and I create that energy and
Mhm.
give people that
Mhm.
opportunity to play. And then
Mhm.
learning through play
Mhm.
is so invigorating
Mhm.
and inspiring and
Right.
energizing.
Mhm.
And there's nothing
Mhm.
better than to laugh
Mhm.
together.
Right.
And sometimes I see these clients and on LinkedIn or
Mhm.
the conference, and we hired our speakers, and they're all fine
Mhm.
speakers,
Right.
but nobody's fun, and it's just
No.
all serious.
Mhm.
And I'm like, that sounds like the most boring conference
Oh,
ever.
yeah. Mhm.
And so does everybody
Mhm.
else. Everybody
Mhm.
else thinks that too.
Right.
We've got to laugh
Mhm.
together. We've got
Mhm.
to have fun together.
Mhm.
When you bring a group of people together,
Mhm.
you have to reach them
Mhm.
emotionally, you have to reach them
Mhm.
through inspiration, you have to reach them through laughter,
Mhm.
you have to entertain them.
Mhm.
And if you do one of those or both or
Mhm.
multiple,
Right.
that's an amazing conference,
Mhm.
because that's the reason,
Mhm.
when that's the
Mhm.
magic when you bring a group of
Right.
people together.
Right. And we remember it. I mean,
Yes,
that's the thing.
you're right.
How many of the boring conferences do we remember?
Forget.
None,
No.
right? And but yeah, we remember the ones where they made us laugh, where we had
Made us
fun,
do
things
bunny
like that.
bunny.
Made a bunny, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Believe me, they
Mhm.
remember that.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And
Mhm.
that's why so many of my
Mhm.
clients bring me back
Mhm.
year after year, and I love seeing that
Mhm.
and making that connection,
Mhm.
and because they remember how they made you
Mhm.
feel, right?
Right.
And
Mhm.
when you make people laugh,
Mhm.
that's
Mhm.
very magical, and it's
Right.
very empowering.
Mhm. You mentioned that I'd be the person in the front row doing bunny,
You would
bunny, bunny.
absolutely.
Oh
Oh my
yeah,
god.
yeah. And
Yeah,
I tell you, I'm the front row person,
you're a
which some
front row
people
person.
say means that I'm the suck up. Okay.
No,
I think
you're energized. You're ready to go.
yeah, and sometimes I might not sit quite in the front, but I'm always in like
You're
the
close.
first quarter, right?
You're not in the back.
No, no. And I tell people, it's the church syndrome, right? You've got a couple people who sit in the front who are going to go hallelujah, and then everybody else is in the far back.
Yeah.
And I loved in your book when you talked about, you were doing this one time and everybody's in the back. Nobody's at the front.
Yeah.
So you just walked back there and started giving, and they could either turn around and be in the
Yeah.
front row,
I
or
think
they could keep their backs to you. And
yeah,
what did they do? I
I
mean,
think it was a bank, if I remember
mhm,
correctly. I think it was a
that
bank.
seems like a bank. Mhm.
And it was like a huge room. Like, they, for
Mhm.
some reason, I don't know why, but
Mhm.
it had double the seats that
Mhm.
they needed. And so if there was 20 rows, everybody was the 10th row and back. So the front 10 rows were empty if there was something like that. And I was like, this just wastes my time.
This is not going to go well.
No. And this is early in my career too, by the way. And I'm probably not getting paid very much. And so,
so you didn't care as much. Let's be.
No, it's like, this is not going to happen on my watch. And so I walked back to the room, to the back of the room, and I started doing my keynote. I said, we have two choices. You can pretend it's the radio.
Yeah, and just keep your back to me.
Or you can turn around, but I'm not going to speak in front of an empty room.
Right.
And they turned around, and it was pretty fun. And, again, some people they're not ready for you to reach out. Right. They're not ready for you to call them on that. And that's right. A lot of time in my keynotes, I'll find somebody in the audience, and I'll reach out and I'll say something to that person sitting in the audience. You break in, it's called breaking the fourth wall.
Break the fourth wall. Yeah.
And that connects the audience. And when people realize that, they're going to engage more, because if I can reach out in their minds, they think if he can reach out to him, he's going to say something to me, which I'm not, but that's not how our minds work. And so I want to make that connection, and I want to sometimes take that risk, and because I want the end is I want that audience to have a ta-da moment, to have an amazing time. And I know what it takes to create that.
Right. And we've talked about it. It's serious times right now in many, many ways. And, we see people just grumpy and cranky, and, so whatever we can do to make them laugh. I mentioned, that I work with people regarding cancer. That's because I have cancer. And you can imagine me going into the doctor, right? I'm like this all the time. Even when I'm not, and I actually, now what's your name and date of birth? And I look at it, and I don't do this to new people because I don't want to freak them out. But if they know me, I look at them and I say, well, my name is Anastasia Beaverhausen.
Wow.
I don't know where that came from. Somebody said it was Will and Grace. But they have decided that it is Princess Anastasia Beaverhausen. And so one must do the wave. And I remember it was so funny. I had surgery a couple years ago, and and I told them I'm, go through this whole spiel with them. And I'll tell you what, I get rid of doctors who don't get my sense of humor. We're just not going to match. And so, so, I'm going down the hall in the bed as they're taking me to surgery, and I'm doing the princess wave, right? Hello. And it's like if a 3-year-old waves, you wave back. It was just,
I love the attitude.
These people, and it's, how can we make people laugh? And we're not talking about poking
little
fun.
Things.
Yeah. But really saying thank you and smiling. I mean, sometimes that might be the best thing you can do.
When you go home from work, you got to think about all the people you had contact with, right? And you got to give them that positive support, and you got to, email them, text them, mail them, see them in the hall. And you want to give them that positive support. It's a gift. It's just a gift that you give everybody. And it's so important to create that positive support and create that opportunity and put those two things together. And when you create these moments that we've talked about, then people have ownership. And when they have ownership, they care. When they care, they have passion. We want people to have passion for what they do. And I want to share these messages, and so one of the things I say at the beginning of my keynote, I go, look, if all you do is laugh and have fun for the next hour, I'm cool.
That's okay.
There's no better. Yeah. Because actually what we did was pretty powerful. We've connected. If you've laughed with your team, you've made a connection, and you're going to remember that when you're faced with a challenge or an obstacle, because you've made that connection. That laughter is so important when we create those moments. And I mentioned in the book, one of my clients they have something called Skit Night. And Skit Night, I remember speaking to this company, and it's a property management company, and they had Skit Night, like each region would put on a skit. And I was talking to the CEO,
mm-hmm.
and it was amazing, by the way. Skit night was incredible. People were like, dancing, and they're doing video and lip sync and, doing the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
And the CEO was like, Skit night's fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
But what I really am after is all the time spent creating Skit
Right,
night.
right.
All the different people from the different departments coming together to create this skit. And so they're not thinking about various work challenges.
Building their widget.
Yeah, they're creating this skit. And so what happens is they make these connections, they bond, they respect each other, they build these very important connections. So when there is a challenge or an obstacle, they're going to refer back to that relationship that they created on building skit night. And that's how powerful it is. And it's and also from a company that continually is named best places to work. So
because it's not just skit night, it carries throughout.
It's the entertainment of skit night, of laughing with everybody. It's the time spent creating the skit night and building those relationships. And it's very powerful. And it was a very eye-opening experience, learning and understanding the purpose of skit night.
Well, oh my gosh, Joel, we've almost filled the hour, and this has been so much fun. And I think we need to have you on again, simply because we need to keep people laughing, right?
I would love it.
But for people, now we will have a link to your website and to your book in the show notes. But for people who are going, I'm ready, sign me up. How do they find you, and what are the services that you provide?
The best way is to reach out to me via my website, joelzeff.com, joelzeff.com. And by the way, any of your listeners or viewers, send me a note via my website, mention the Power Hour, and I will send a free chapter of my book about change, which we talked about, in a nice, cool PDF with photos. And it's pretty fancy. Send you a free, so mention the Power Hour, send me a note, and through my website, I'll send you the free chapter. And that's a great way. You can sign up on my email list and reach out. I love to come out as a keynote, bring that energy and fun, and bring that to your conference. A lot of my clients bring me in to MC their awards programs. I just did one for the Houston Apartment Association last week. And of course, the book, Make the Right Choice, which is available Amazon, Barnes & Noble, wherever you buy or find your books.
Cool. I love it. I love it. Well, this really has been so much fun, and I can't wait to chat again, because I think this is, more than anything, it's very important, right? We need this right now. The world is far too serious, and so anything we can do to give a little giggle, give a little chortle, do a little, right? Play your harmonica. I mean, whatever it is, we need to do that.
Right.
So until we chat again, do you have any final thoughts that you want to leave everyone with?
Just, I think, again, believe in yourself, be confident, be who you are, and go out there and create a ta-da moment and celebrate your ta-da moment today. I know everybody did something awesome today, and celebrate. Huge ta-da to you, Deb.
I love it. Well, we are done. Ta-da!
Ta-da!
I am Deb Creer. I have been having so much fun talking with Joel Zeff. And until next time, everyone have a great day.
Tune in for our next program for even more trends, best practices, and techniques for how to make your business a success. The Business Power Hour, hosted by Deb Creer, is proud to be part of the C-Suite Network.